the Twilight Zone episode that happens. Georgia goes into Alabama. Okay, they go into Alabama. I call it they're going to lose big. Carson Beck, I just don't think he's going to get the job done. Jalen Milroe and the boys, the young buck at receiver, they're going to run around and score points. And guess what, guys? It looked like pretty dang true for about 30 minutes. They go up 28-0, I think, or 7, one of the two at halftime. They can't not score every time they touch the ball. Carson Beck looks like he's throwing. It looks like they have 18 people out there on defense when he's got the ball. They have no idea what's going on. It looks like it's over at halftime.
Bloodbath. Jalen Milroe becomes a Heisman favorite at halftime of the game.
In 30 minutes, it's like, give him the trophy. We don't even need him. Like, who cares about the rest of the season? At halftime, he has 200 yards in the air, a touchdown, an interception that should have never happened. They were going to go in and score again. He has 2 touchdowns on the ground, 106 yards. This guy is he's just dominating at all phases. But then we get to halftime, and I don't know what happened. All I know is that Nick Saban should have marched his ass down in that locker room and said, boys, this isn't good enough. We wanted a shutout. We don't have one. If Nick Saban's that coach, this is a completely different football game, ladies and gentlemen, but it's not. It's a new coaching staff for Alabama, and they come out at halftime, and they look like the Ravens in the first couple of weeks. What is going on?
Like, I don't know. I think, like, it's just overall in football, just like you have the big – I feel like it's hard to play with a big lead. Like, I think the offense, like the team that's down, it's like we don't have anything to lose at this point. Like, we could go lose by 50. So we might as well just, like, put it all on the table, and then they just start cooking, and then they get back into the game. I don't – like, even the Vikings. The Vikings, the best team in the NFL. They almost blew the game of the Packers.
It's the same scoreline, 28-7. Like – but the thing I have on here, I was gonna come into this game at halftime. I texted this guys, and I was like, "Oh, Carson Beck is gonna get it. I'm gonna go on an unheard of rant about Carson Beck, and it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. But I'm gonna go on a little mini rant because it wasn't all that bad. He did throw for 400 yards. He had 50%. I get it. He threw for a lot of yards. Guys, listen to me right now. I was told on Saturday night that I don't know football. I don't know ball. TikTok brains keep telling me I don't know ball. I don't know what I'm talking about. Listen, if you throw 50 times in a football game, if you throw 50 times and you don't throw for 350 yards plus, you would even be worse. This guy had a 50% completion percentage. That has to be like 80% lower than the league average in the country. He throws 3 interceptions, guys. They dropped 2 of them. One of them is a walk-in pick 6, guys. He has now had 6 total dropped interceptions against Alabama. That should be 11 total in 2 games. Yes, he threw for 400 yards. Yes, he had 3 touchdowns. And yes, he did. I will say the positive about Carson Beck, he looked very poised in the second half, and he took advantage of what I'll get into in a second here, and I think you're going to touch on is a ultimate collapse from the Alabama coaching staff. But overall, he did not play good in this game. 400 yards does not mean anything. Again, like I said earlier in this episode, when you are down a lot in the first half and then you end the game with a lot of yards, I've seen Ben Roethlisberger do this a lot of times. It's just because you didn't get the job done in the first half. I know that there's 4 quarters to play, but when you're down 28-7, by gosh, you're not going to come out and run the ball 80 times for Georgia. I know he threw for a lot of yards, but 3 interceptions, the game-sealing interception, and they should have had 2 more. One of them was a pick 6 easily. That's not good. I'm not sold on Carson Beck. Kentucky played horrible. He did not play good in this game. Sure, 400 yards. If you're a Georgia fan and you're happy about that performance, hey, kudos to you. Great job. But let me roast this Bama coaching staff because I think you're going to touch on this as well. What are we doing in the second half of this football game? If you want to come out and say, first of all, if I was the athletic director of Bama and I was a booster club and everybody, I would say it would be a requirement for this entire coaching staff to come on to a press conference and explain.
I need an answer still.
Why are we the only people talking about this?
I don't know
anything from anybody.
I don't know. Like, I texted you. I called you. I think you called me. I was like, they need to be questioned and immediately. Like, and here's the thing. Here's the thing that you have to understand. For all the Georgia fans saying like, "Oh, we played well and Carson Beck played well," listen to me. If this was actually going to end up being worse than the Falcons collapse, because at least you could say for the Falcons Super Bowl, they did come out and try and chew the clock. They're snapping the ball with 5 seconds left on the clock, 3 seconds left on the clock. What is Bama doing whether it's a run or a pass, they're snapping the ball with 20 plus seconds left on the clock. And in any point in the second half, it didn't matter if it was early in the third quarter or late in the fourth quarter when they're up by 5 with 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left in the game. Why are you snapping the ball with 20 plus seconds left? And not only that, you took the game out of the best player on the field's hands. Why? This guy threw for like 21 passes in the first half and almost 200 yards. He finishes the game with 300 and something, and I think he had like 12 attempts in the second half. Why is he not throwing the ball? The whole first half, Georgia couldn't stop the pass. It was wide. Every time he threw the ball, it was wide open players everywhere. Why are you coming out and taking the ball out of number 4's hands? I don't know. Anyway, but overall, the coaching staff, you have to answer for what on earth you're doing in the second half of this game. And like I said, I tweeted this, but if this was a Nick Saban coaching staff, this game was 65-17 easily. Easily. This is a lull to me. I'm actually I don't even know how to feel about this. It didn't even feel like a good win for Alabama, in my opinion. Like, it looked like it was going to be, and then they come out and just caca in their pants.
I thought the fix was in for this game.
Vegas.
I thought Vegas, I need to talk about the clock management and in the fourth quarter, because I'm a sports bettor. I bet on sports, and I'm usually on the other side of the narrative that sports are rigged for money and Vegas. Like, I'm usually on the other side of that argument, but holy shit that I almost start to believe that this shit is rigged.
What's happening?
If Georgia would have won that game, like right now, I would be talking about how sports are rigged.
Yeah.
The first three drives for Alabama in the fourth quarter all ended in punts. All of those drives combined burnt 7 minutes and 40 seconds off the clock. They got a first down on the second drive, and that only cooked 2 minutes and 32 seconds off the clock after getting a first down. Like you said, they were snapping the ball with 20 seconds left on the game clock. I was sitting on my couch. My jaw was on the floor watching this game. Georgia, Alabama's running plays, snapping the ball with 20 seconds left on the clock. Georgia's getting the ball, driving down the field in 3 plays, scoring touchdowns in 1:30. You come out, pass the ball the next play. Like, what? I was surely convinced that this game was rigged.
No, they were getting, in the headset of the offense coordinator in the booth was literally getting calls from Vegas saying, if y'all win this game by 40 points, we're gonna
how do you have a 6-play drive in the fourth quarter when you're up by 5 points and only kill 2 minutes and 32 seconds off the clock? How is that possible?
They were running to the ball, they are in a 2-minute offense. And the thing is, they would get to the line and then they would fake call play and then they'd look to the sideline and then in Milroe's headset should be, this is the play. There's 14 seconds left. There's 20 seconds left. Don't snap the ball. But he would get the play, look, snap. What is happening? And then let alone taking the game completely out of number 4's hands. I don't understand what again, this is more on Alabama as a bad look, in my opinion, as a coaching staff than anything else. This game should have literally been 42-17. Easily. Easily. Let alone, they could do that just off of running the clock. Their defense comes out, they get a safety, and then they punt the ball back, in 2 seconds.
I still don't know what happened. I don't know how that even happens. How do you not kill clock there?
I don't know.
When I played 8-10 Pee-wee football, we would kill the clock if we were winning in the fourth quarter. I don't understand what was happening. I literally thought the game was rigged. Literally thought the game was rigged for Georgia to come back and win.
No, I literally tweeted and texted you. I was like, this game is fixed. This is literally a fixed game. They're snapping the ball with 25 seconds left. And it doesn't matter if you come out in the second half and you're throwing the ball or running the ball. Why are you they're running to the ball after each play it's a 2-minute offense.
I still don't know what happened. I feel like we're the only people talking about that. I haven't seen anything on this. Why are they not killing the clock?
Their coaching staff.
Is someone from the FBI from Vegas going to knock on my door after we post this? Because this game was fixed. If Ryan Williams doesn't catch that 75-yard touchdown and Georgia wins, I don't even know. What was that?
That was the craziest game I've ever seen. The second half, like I said, Georgia, they played well, but what? And it wasn't like their defense played good. Like, they played decent, but like it wasn't like they were making unbelievable plays. Alabama just is like calling the worst second half I've ever seen in my life.
Like
They went away
the
completely from
first
what worked in the
drive
first
of the
half.
fourth quarter, Alabama punts to Georgia. Georgia has a 3-play drive. They go score a touchdown. And then their offense comes out and look like they're running a 2-minute offense to go score when they're up by 15 points. I'm like, what happened?
Literally, the entire Alabama coaching staff turns into Dan Quinn and the Falcons of 2016, and they were just like, "Hey, how can we blow this game?"
I don't get it. Of course, I had Alabama money line, but that's besides the point. Like, it doesn't matter.
Of course, the 1 week I say anything about Georgia and this garbage quarterback to all my friends, after going down 28-0, they come back because Alabama decides that they're going to just keep this game close for some reason. Like,
all right.
I don't know. Anyway,
let's move on, I guess.
Let's move on to Kentucky. Kentucky goes into Ole Miss and wins a wild one. Another wild game. This game can be summed up pretty much in the last quarter of this. The fourth quarter was bananas land in Ole Miss. So much bend but don't break defense. A lot of field goals, a lot of missed field goals. But the both teams, Ole Miss fumbles the ball in Kentucky territory. This was late in the third quarter, I believe. We're not in the fourth quarter yet, but they're going in. They're in scoring territory. Then they fumble. A big fumble, and then Kentucky. Now we're moving to the fourth quarter. Kentucky in their own territory. 4 minutes left in the game. It's 4th and 7 on their own 21. Everybody's thinking, all right, they're not going to snap the ball. They're going to come out, try and draw an offsides, maybe get it to like a 4th and 1.5, and then they can make. No, he snaps the ball. Not only does he snap the ball, they said, screw the 7 yards we need. We're going with a one-on-one ball to the outside on 4th and 7, game on the line on your own 21, and they convert. Trey Harris catches it 50-plus yards. Sorry, that wasn't Trey Harris. That was Ole Miss. We'll get to that. But they convert on 4th and 7 for a huge gain. Then coming back to the other team, Ole Miss calls a 4th down in there they were at the 50-yard line. It wasn't in their territory, but they call a 4th down. They get a big play, 50-plus yards on 4th and 7. Jackson Dart throws a beautiful throw. Crazy calls from both teams, but the Kentucky play, that 4th down and wherever they were, or however long it was, that's the play of the game in my opinion. But Ole Miss 17-13 in this game late. That's when Kentucky calls from their own 21-yard line. That's the huge conversion. It's like 70 yards. That's the play of the game for me. Then they have the go-ahead touchdown. Okay, this was after the conversion. In their go-ahead touchdown, they come in, they bring a new quarterback in. They throw the normal quarterback out wide, and they run a read option. And it's a good play. He's running to his left. It's a good play call. Here's the problem. Ole Miss defender hits the ball, pops out, a little jack-in-the-box play. He's going in to score. Ball's out, fumble. The tight end's looking at this ball like it's a present from Santa. It lands in his hands. He's like, oh, wow, this is great. He dives in. Kentucky goes ahead here on a crazy play. So there's like 4 possessions that are just like unbelievable. We got 2 4th down conversions, one from Ole Miss, one from Kentucky. That's the play of the game. Then they score. It's not over, though. Ole Miss gets the ball back with chances to win. Jackson Dart drives down the field. They get into field goal range to tie the game. And unfortunately for Ole Miss, the kicker misses the game-tying field goal. I will give credit to Ole Miss with all the stuff going on. The 4th down they give up to Kentucky, the fumble they had as well on the offense, and then the fumble they caused, which ends up going into Kentucky's hands for a touchdown. With all that being said, they still drive down the field, get into opportunity to tie the game, but unfortunately they don't. Honestly, this is a heartbreaking loss for Ole Miss, in my opinion, at home, obviously. The game was won for them. That's 4th down on Kentucky's own 21-yard line, and they give up a 70-yard play. Then, not only that, they have an opportunity after all this shenanigans, this Looney Tunes episode, to tie the game and send it into overtime. But unfortunately for Ole Miss and the Rebels, they don't. But I do want to touch on really quick Kentucky's defense. Are they the best defense in the country? They're giving up 13.4 a game. Mind you, one of those was giving up like a bunch of points to, I forget what team it was, but they're giving up 13.4 a game. And then 2 of the last 3 weeks, they played number 5 Georgia, who they held to 13 points. Then they played number 12 now, Ole Miss. They hold them to 17 points. They hold Carson Beck in that offense 160 yards, no touchdowns from Carson Beck. And then Jackson Dart, he did throw for quite a bit with 261, but only 1 touchdown. Kentucky's defense, low for him. Kentucky's defense playing out of their mind. And honestly, they're a pick 6 away from Georgia to being 4-1 on the season in the SEC. Kentucky's a little bit of a sleeper team. They're just going to battle. Crazy game.
Play everyone great.
Crazy game.
I didn't watch that game, but
that 4th down call, unbelievable from Kentucky. I mean, they just literally took their nuts and put them on the table. You're calling a 4th and 7 one-on-one ball on your own 21-yard line with 4 minutes left in the game. He said, "Why not? One-on-one ball. We don't care about nothing." That was amazing game. Amazing game.
Another surprise, honestly. Colorado goes into UCF and dominates in their house.
Yeah.
Big win for Colorado. I think the key to victory here is Shedeur didn't have to carry this team to a win. They had some success on the ground, which is rare for Colorado. They had 128 yards, which isn't a lot for a normal college football team, but for Colorado, that's pretty good. Their defense forced 4 turnovers. That's why they won by 27 points when they were 17-point underdogs going into that game. And also because they have Travis Hunter. He helps your team win. He had 9 catches for 89 yards as a receiver and a touchdown and an interception on defense. That was the first game where Buffalo wins the game and Shedeur threw for under 300 yards. Playing good defense and running the football, taking the pressure off Shedeur is how Colorado can win football games and not have to rely on Shedeur to throw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dominated Central Florida. That's a huge win for the Buffaloes. Honestly, that's the best game. I think that's the best game I've ever seen them play in the prime era at Colorado.
Yeah, big win. I mean, I just my thoughts because I didn't really watch this game at all, but just Hunter, man, that dude is a freak.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say Heisman should win it, but good one.
I think right now he's third betting favorite to win.
Two-way player, like he's doing, it's crazy what he's doing. But